Welcome to Diceborn. This is our show from the 17th Shard where we're playing through a campaign of the Mistborn Adventure Game. I'm Ben, I'll be playing Dervish today, and I'm joined by Ian.
Hey, I'm playing Royce.
Grace.
Hello, I'm playing Marelyn.
Matt.
Hi everyone, I'm Luka Ilariel.
And Rosemary.
So I play Hallie.
And I'm also joined today by Natasha.
Your illustrious Lord Roller.
So this is episode 8 of our Mistborn Adventure Game series. Mistborn Adventure Game is a narrative-focused RPG made by Crafty Games set in the world of Scadrial. You can find the rest of the episodes in the playlist on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on Spotify, then it will be in the thing on Spotify. Today's giveaway, I'm going to pass this over to Giveaway Ben, who will give you the details and the last week's winner.
What's up, guys? It's Giveaway Ben, back at it again, and I've got the whole of Rochelle with me today. Today, I'm going to be announcing the winners of last week's giveaway with the 4 copies of the deluxe edition of the Call to Adventure Stormlight Archive game, and then we're going to go on to the giveaway for this week. So the winners are Glorious Glorfindel, who said her favourite shard is Invention. We have Jordan, who said that Cultivation so far is their favourite. Jesse Bloomfield, who said Ruin is their favourite in contrast to Preservation. And Cale Larson, who just said Mercy. I should respect that. Just simple Mercy. So you guys will, if you guys send an email to 17shard@gmail.com, and then we can start doing the whole address things and get those shipped off to you. Cool. On to this week's giveaway, and we're giving away a copy of the Mistborn Adventure Game rulebook. This is provided to us by Crafty Games, so thank you to Crafty for providing that. Oh, and thank you to Brotherwise Games for the Brotherwise Games Call to Adventure games that they gave us. Fun fact about Brotherwise Games, their Kickstarter for the Stormlight Archive miniatures should be going live this week, I think? Yes. Cool, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. They've got some very cool minis. We recently showed off the Yasna miniature, who looks fantastic, if I do say so myself, so I'm very excited to see the rest of the designs. On to this week's giveaway from Crafty with the Mistborn Adventure Game rulebook. I just want you guys to be a subscriber and then leave a comment. In the comment, we have been arguing for months now about, does our crew have a name? Because we're really bad at naming things. And we can't work out what we want to name our crew. And so I want to hear what you guys' suggestions of what is the crew. I'm not going to say we're definitely for sure going to take it, and the winner will just be picked randomly, from those people. But yeah, I just want to hear what you guys think. We should name our crew in Mistborn Adventure Game, this little gaggle of weirdos that we have. So yeah, leave a comment down below and be a subscriber. This giveaway is worldwide, so you can be anywhere, and you can enter this competition and potentially win it. So do that, and now enjoy episode 8 of Diceborn. Bye.
Thanks, Giveaway Ben.
You're pausing to see if we interject.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with 2 things for this.
It's all good. Okay, so without any further ado, Natasha, did you want to kick off episode 8 of Diceborn?
Yes. Well, so we were left hanging last time with, Ghost asking, well, who's the boss? Because that was the common thread throughout the whole episode of who exactly is the crew's boss? But I feel like we need a deeper recap than that. So we started off the episode with, I believe, an introduction between Jelly and Marelyn and Brayden Hadriel.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to get to know each other, mostly just to introduce Brayden as a character and as someone that exists. And then after that, we headed over to some of Hallie's antics, I believe.
No, I think next was Luka getting cut off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Luka getting cut off.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a big thing.
Yeah. That was
How did you feel about that?
It's a small thing. It's not a big deal, and it's handled. So.
Oh, hi. Oh my.
Here it is.
Luka is not stressed at all.
To be fair, Luca's stress looks somewhere between like you laughing and crying. Like kind of that.
That's very accurate. Yes.
And then Royce did some investigating back in Ellendale, looking into Genevieve's mother's death. And circumstances surrounding that, which was very illuminating.
Very natural, of course.
It was Genevieve's mother, right? Not Genevieve.
Genevieve's mother.
Genevieve's mother, yeah.
And Hallie kind of snooped around and learned the entire layout of the whole spa, down to all the back channels and everything. She knows where everything is now.
We then bounced a bunch of information via ghost back and forth between all of us. He got very confused. We are not raising this child in a structured, supportive environment.
Marilyn should not be raising a child.
Yeah.
Marelyn is doing her best in the circumstances she is in.
Yeah. But I think eventually we kind of we got people out of the spa treatments, and we kind of were going back to rooms and kind of starting to congregate when Hallie and Marelyn had a conversation.
It was not great, but some of Hallie's backstory got revealed about how the fellow Ufren Portel, who all the protesters are here for, and not in the fun way, he was the foreman of the factory that Hallie's little brother got sick and died at. And she was going to go full on revenge until Rush showed up and talked her down.
Yeah, Marelyn was not doing a great job of talking her down.
Yeah.
Didn't really care about the revenge part of it, and more about the you used ghosts to get that information and are now being callous about the fact that your family love you and would miss you.
And then I think Royce revealed. Oh.
Yep, Royce showed up and dropped some big dirty bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The owners of the factory were the Ilarios.
Mm.
And maybe he knows more, maybe not. Who can say? He said what he needed to say to get her to stop.
And speaking of Ilarios, Luka is doing everything he can to not interrupt his friend's wonderful spa weekend because he's having a tiff with grandmother, and or she's upset with him, you know. And so he is approaching Royce's family member, Brayden, who for potentially a line of credit. And Brayden is apparently very scared of, or very intimidated by the Luka's grandmother and what she represents. And Luka gets some insight that he may be a bit of a prisoner, or maybe under watch by a bodyguard who's next to him. So Luka doesn't get his money there, and then goes to visit Alarin Petrel, the owner of the spa, and manages to sweet talk his way into a delayed payment plan, while finally coming into the loop that everyone else already knew that Eddie has been arrested. And then he returns to the group to find out what's going on.
Yep. And here we are all sitting at, in the one room in, the spa, and, so it's all of you and Jelly and Ghost, and cards need to be put on the table. And a new boss needs to be decided.
Any boss at all. I guess once everyone is there, Hallie will tell the full tale of all the mess that happened to her family. They were there's a farming family, and she left for the city to go to university, and there was friction there for a while, but her brother stayed and took the job at the factory to help the family, and between the factory making him sick and messing with the land and them spending all this money on trying to get him well, they lost the farm, and Hallie didn't really know how bad it was until it was all done. And so she has been trying to track and bring down the people responsible ever since. And that is why she turned to crime.
Yes. Speaking of your brother's illness, he's not the first and he's not the last.
No.
Many others, including, I suspect, your mother, Genevieve. The factories in question were owned by the Ilarials. Your mother handled the Ilarial accounts for their out-of-town business. I can't help but think she got sick for the same reason Hallie's brother got sick. The unfortunate thing is that pollution is not an accident. They know what's going on. They're not putting a stop to it.
And if these factories are Ilarial owned, well, we have an Ilarial here. Can we do something
Indeed.
with that? I know, Hallie, you were looking for someone in the spa earlier. Marelyn mentioned that.
He was the foreman of the factory that her brother worked at.
Okay.
Which would have been part of the story.
And so you want to get revenge against this man?
That was what my plan was, but I wasn't going to get the rest of you involved. But if Royce is right, and we have a line-in on the people who are the real cause of all of this, they need to be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I want to turn to Luka and say, do you know anything about this, Luka, or your family, or who or why they might be causing this?
Well, to confess, no, I'm not very involved in the business side of things. I was aware of some of what Royce had filled me in on some of this, but I don't really know how it all connects. I know it's complicated. These people, there are members of my family who live up in their own spheres, in their own worlds, it seems like, and they don't always understand or know how their actions impact other people, or I don't know. I don't want to be insensitive. They know they don't understand. This may be the better way to put it.
I might
see everything
put it
in charts, and
differently in that they don't care.
I think that's fair as well. But I'd like to think they haven't been taught to care, and that's not something that everyone should or has to. I'm not trying to excuse anything, but I think, part of all of this, I think, creating positive change in the world is changing people's hearts and minds, and getting to know them as people, and sharing and showing why they should care. But they are.
I don't think what Hallie's looking for is to get these guys to care. I think Hallie wants some justice.
I want them stopped.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
And then
they are killing people.
Yeah.
Right now.
But I
don't think a hug and a teddy bear is going to fix that.
Luka, would you be able to get us...
No, sorry. I don't think a hug and a Sunni pup is going to fix that.
Luka, would you be able to get us names?
We're still members of my family owns these factories. Members of them, are involved in this, absolutely. But there's a lot of information we don't know, and we don't know how, connected it all is. I think we need to get more information, and to the extent that I can I may be able to look into some things, but it will be immediately potentially suspicious because I've never taken an interest in the family holdings before. And it's...
Luka?
Yes?
Really kind of... I don't think the point here is that anyone is trying to say outwit them all. But we also, I think just as much as you humanize them, we humanize those that we've lost.
Absolutely. Yes.
And while we can take some time and maybe be a bit more surgical about the approach, you might want to consider who you are. Well, I think if I'm reading the situation right, these people are your friends, and they were assuming that you'd help them.
And
if that's all right, that's okay, but you need to tell them that.
I want to help.
Luka.
Yes?
You're naive, but this world is a bad place, full of people who are greedy, and would hurt anyone who gets in their way in order to just get a little bit higher, get a little bit more money. And Calcifer brought us together because he knew that, and he thought that we were the ones who could stand in the way and stop them. And now your family, people in your family, are some of the people that we need to stop. So you need to decide whether or not you're going to stand with us or with them.
But my family's connections and resources and what I've gained from them is what I bring to this. That's my role in this group, right? That's why I was brought in. If I'm choosing against them, I'm...
Luka, I want you to think back to what you did on the train for me. Did you use your family's money or connections to get us out of that?
No, not necessarily, no.
You do bring something to this group even if you weren't an Illyrian.
Hallie, I haven't seen my parents or sister in a while, and I've been focusing on my own priorities, and I can only imagine how I would feel if something awful like you've described happened to them while I was doing all this. And I want to make sure nothing like this happens again, and for you to find closure. So I hope the fact that this isn't easy for me does not imply that I don't have extreme respect, care, empathy for all of you. I want to help. I do. I think I just need a little bit of time to think through what this all means. And that's not me trying to back out or trying to hesitate. It's a lot. So I hope everyone can understand that, but I think a plan of some sort is a viable option.
Get that. We just took your entire worldview and cracked it open like an egg.
Maybe just next step then. One step at a time.
Well, we still have, Dervish's family to deal with. We might not even be alive to deal with Luka's.
And your father.
Yes.
We, I think, need to get him out of here. And
so, I may have spent most of the day roaming around the entire facility. I sort of slipped into the back areas. I know exactly where their jail cell is. I know their round patterns. I've been kind of
excellent
noticing things.
Okay.
But before we make any plans, if we're going to set Eddie free from Al, I should tell you guys more about my past.
What do you mean?
You know,
just kind of, Hallie's finally starting to relax a little bit, and she just sort of sits back and.
Dervish tenses up a little bit.
If only she had a bag of popcorn right now.
You know, I was raised in this sort of criminal world. Eddie would taught me how to con people and would take me on jobs with him. And then, when I was young, I thought it was fun. It was all just, a game. And then when I got older, I saw what this world did to people. And Eddie, he screwed over every single crew he had. So we had this job, and he was planning to screw over the person who hired us again, and I knew. And Dervish, you understand what I had to do, don't you? You know what it's like to feel trapped by your family and feel like you need to do anything you can to get out.
Absolutely.
So I got proof, and I went to our boss. I sold our crew out. And I took the money and I left, and I tried to make a new life for myself. And
that
was when
I was on that job.
Yeah, you were. That's when I met Al. He runs a bunch of soothing parlors. Tried to go straight, get a job there. But he treated us like ska, I saw a girl, couldn't have been older than 16, pass out because she was working 12 straight hours, no breaks for food or anything, just soothing people on the side. And then when she came to, she was fired for slacking off. And, instead of just trying to find somewhere else to work, she started begging him, saying she couldn't lose that job because her family would starve without it. So I, tried to get the people together and make things a little better, start a union, but no one was willing to join in. So he fired me, blacklisted me, ruined my reputation. Calcifer was the only person who was willing to take a chance on me after all of that. That's how I ended up here.
Did Calcifer know what you did?
I told him when you joined the crew.
Wow. I'm feeling a little conflicted. I didn't. Okay. That was a bad job. We nearly died because of that. I had to lie low for a while. But I didn't know Eddie was going to betray the guy who hired us. I thought the guy who hired us just betrayed us. I didn't really know what happened. So I don't know whether to be more annoyed at Eddie for that or for you for selling us out and nearly getting us killed. Ugh.
Off to the side, Ghost is just kind of quietly watching, and
I'm like body language. I'm like stood up and I'm like pacing a little. I'm not like angry. I'm just kind of like.
His hand slowly snakes over to Ghost, and she hands him a piece of saltwater taffy.
he just kind of looks down at it like,
oh, no, I'm sorry I broke Ghost's opinion of me. That's worse than making Dervish angry.
Absolutely.
That's worse than the fact that I almost got Dervish killed.
Royce is also just watching and kind of, he's like, his personality, cool and collected, doesn't really show a lot on his face. He's just watching.
Marelyn, do you know what you did? Do you know what you did wrong? Do you know what I'm annoyed about? It's that you didn't tell me. that that's what you were going to do. You know, we hadn't known each other long. I get it. It was your father, and you know, but in that kind of situation, you need to let people, like, you know, the rest of us didn't know, and that Eddie was planning.
You would have just tried to stop me. You would have sold me out first.
I don't know. I get the situation you were in. As you said, I've been in a situation where I've trapped a family before, and all I'm thinking is I want to make you sure you know, before you ever do anything like that again, you need to tell, like, the people in the crossfire. At least give us some sort of heads up that things are going south. You know, I just thought you kind of read the winds and you'd got out of there before things went south, and I've always respected you, but now I know that you're the one that caused it to happen.
No, Eddie caused it. Yeah. He was the one who was planning to sell everyone out. I just did it before he could.
Okay.
Doesn't make it right. You know that, right?
It's a rusted pickle is what it is. I'm not that angry at you, Marelyn. I get what, like, I'm just gonna need a minute to just kind of get over it. I kind of really want to punch Eddie in the face a bit. So I definitely think we should get him out of that holding cell.
Well, and he could, you know, if he's questioned, give any of us away.
That's true. Jamalis are apparently not as loyal as they first seem. Sorry about it. That was a low blow, Alan. So they don't mean that.
And he does know all of our names.
He does.
And, like, at that moment, like, Genevieve's eyes kind of flicked to Royce.
Do I notice that?
Probably.
I don't know what it means, so Royce doesn't know what it means, but it's like interesting.
Okay. So, Eddie, our loose end.
Know where he is and how to get there.
Yeah.
What we need is a distraction. You notice there's a bunch of picketers outside. I know that Ghost got hold of his itinerary. If, say, the picketers were to get in and happen to know where he was supposed to be at that given time, that would distract the spa staff long enough for us to get Eddie out.
Absolutely.
Certainly. Or if a high priority guest were to have a medical instance.
Oh, that'd be fun too. What kind of medical instance?
Anaphylaxis.
Seriously? It's like Harmony just handed this to us on a silver platter.
Royce gets an expression when you say that, and he just looks up, and it's like, yes. Certainly he does seem to do that.
Okay. So,
now, obviously, I do not condone his death necessarily, but as long as medical treatment provides, he will survive, but will have a bad day.
Admittedly, the protesters getting in would cause a lot more chaos and give us a lot more cover.
Well, and if a bunch of people are being forced out of the building, it might be a good opportunity to blend a couple extra people. If we could get some signs and what's the word? accessories to blend in, we could throw them over your father, Marelyn, and get swept out with the rest of the crowd.
Mm.
And if we could do both.
Mm-hmm.
And the protesters would be an easy explanation for the attempt on his life. And it would certainly be distracting for Hal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
High-profile client, very displeased with service here.
I like it.
So, if we're breaking this out, we need someone to let the rabble, so to speak, into the building and get them incensed. Perhaps using this schedule. Meanwhile, we need someone else to break Eddie out of the slammer and get him out with the rest of the group. Do we need anything else
Easy enough.
other than those two teams?
If I can't pick the lock, I can melt it.
Yeah. I could just try and pull it off its hinges as well. Depending on how strong is it. But,
I mean, again, melt it, that makes it weaker.
yeah.
Perhaps with the wanted posters already out, Dervish, you should stay away from the more visible roles.
I agree.
Agreed.
I was thinking as well, since this is I'm thinking for the protesters right now, there's only like 20 of them out front. However, down in the town, there's a lot more. And so, did someone want to go down and try and sense that get them to come up? Someone possibly who might have connections to the people specifically that they're looking for. And maybe that person could then get to know some other people that his family have hurt. And, you know.
Dervish, I appreciate your confidence in me, if I'm reading this correctly.
You are.
Okay, good. I'm not sure. I mean, I like to think I'm very amiable and can get along
Oh, absolutely.
very well. How do I put this? Do you think people who are ticked off at the higher ups are going to want to listen to any kind of gestures at his like fancy clothing and like
They're gonna take one look at Luka and eat him alive.
That's a good point, yeah.
I'll go with him.
Okay. That's not a bad idea.
Probably for the best I stay out of somewhere Al could recognize me.
It's also
Really
a good
kinda-
way to get Ghost out of the building before things get twitchy.
Yeah.
Jelly kind of leans forward and says, two things. Wouldn't it be best if Hallie went to go rally up people like that?
The problem is, I'm the one that has to crack the jail open.
Well,
but you wouldn't crack the jail open till the people are in. So once they're here, you could switch
That's not a bad idea.
teams.
I've also been dabbling with picking locks. I might be able to do something.
Raise my eyebrows at, Luke, Royce.
You're getting all larcenist.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am,
nice.
well, if I've heard the story right, he's been incarcerated for the disturbance at the auction, which technically was not his fault.
Yeah.
So I am... At the very least, he is not guilty of the crime he's being accused of.
Now
So
we
he's
are.
hardly innocent.
Yeah. And he is. No reason not to throw us under the bus.
Speaking of guilty parties,
Yeah.
could we use this as an opportunity, maybe, to throw other people under the carriage?
What do you got in mind,
Is
Jelly?
that Genevieve or Ghost?
Jelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
And she
thinking.
just kind of looks at Marelyn.
Yeah, good scapegoat is always good for things like this. What are you thinking?
Well, your boss sounds like a very gross person. Or old boss.
Ghost was just really confused for a second there, you know?
The guy who runs the place.
Yeah.
I do think we could, find a way to make this into a personal failing of Mr. Petrel, and
Two major issues happening in very short succession. He's gonna catch the blame one way or another. It's like, oh, he was incompetent in running his own spa. Clearly it was his fault everything went wrong at the auction as well.
Yeah. He claims he captured somebody who is responsible, and yet he cannot produce them. And also, he has angry guy. I was almost poisoned.
Yes. Okay. So.
I feel like a lot of this will just take care of itself without us having to do much other than
get him out.
Yeah.
Do what we're planning to do.
Okay.
I'm wondering, do we know? So, obviously, Elendel has papers. Would a small town have a local?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Reporting. What if? So, we have a former factory overseer who is very unpopular. We have a con man who's just been captured, a potentially crooked spa owner.
Oh,
and
everything Al does is legal.
Yeah. And a scion of a family who is implicated in these people's misfortune. I'm wondering if if part of what we want is to get the truth out, or the truth we want, I wonder if speaking to some local reporters, we could let it slip. I'm here, Mr. Portel is here, these different actors are here, that there might be some sort of meeting going on about the factories. And, it's just rumor, right, of course, but if we could whip up an investigative frenzy, and we get people mobbing Mr. Petrel, Alarin, and what's the other guy's name?
Lufrin,
and myself as well. It can hopefully keep everyone's attention of those key players occupied if they're dealing with a bit of a scandal.
There are two issues I see with that. Is one, the Ilarial involvement is not known. The fact that the Ilarials own the factories is heavily obscured. As far as most of the world is concerned, those factories are run by the Hastings, which have business contacts with the Ilarials, but there is not a direct public link between the Ilarials and the factories. And second,
No, those would all be in their financial record.
it would, but which is how I found out. But small town reporters,
Someone might ask
Wouldn't.
questions where they're getting such things.
yes. And second, that would burn you
Yeah.
as far as your family is concerned.
Well, I think I could play it off potentially as I know nothing about this. I'm getting caught completely off guard by rumor, but I do see your point about where they get this information. Here's
It
another.
would also potentially implicate Brayden.
Yes. I'm sorry, I forget the relation. It's a cousin?
Second cousin.
Yes. He's here, and
Yes, I heard a ghost
I-
mentioned.
I don't think... I'm a little concerned for him. The large man who is with him, I got the vibe, was more of a guard of him rather than a guard of his safety, if you take my meaning.
Hmm.
He
I wish I could say that surprised me, but
I
based off of what
discussed I discussed my circumstances with him, and he seemed very nervous about my family.
that
So I would hate.
unfortunately, that does not surprise me based off of what his mother said.
So
But the fear of your family.
Do we want to be taking great action against the Ilarials if they've put a fear into the Hadriels like this?
mhm.
I
Here's another tack. Okay, remind me. Marelyn is good at disguises, right?
Yeah, I have a disguise kit, and I have a
Okay.
fancy clothes,
Okay.
basically.
So here's another thing, Marelyn.
Yes.
I believe you had some close contact with some representatives of the Hastings recently, including Mirabelle. What's her name? Mirabelle?
Mirabelle.
Savant.
Is it Seth? Mirabelle Savant?
Yeah.
If you were to impersonate her briefly, we could do the same plan, but then I guess Alaran might
Yeah.
see through.
Perhaps we should just focus on getting Eddie out for now,
Yeah.
Good,
and then
good plan.
regroup a little bit
Good plan.
later.
Yes.
We're trying to make this more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. Let's get Eddie out, and then we can do the rest. So, Hallie.
Get Eddie out, in the very least, scare the crap out of Lufrin.
Yeah. Who wants to be with Hallie and getting the crowd incensed?
I
Maybe,
think. Oh, go ahead.
I'm a soother. Getting crowds to feel a certain way. I can't do a full crowd, but maybe a few key players.
Yeah.
Sort
Yes.
of my specialty.
Soothe their patience or something like that, or their reasonableness.
Restraint.
Yeah.
Yeah, suppress their good sense.
It's a good idea. All right, and then who wants to deliver some nuts to Mr. Lufrin?
You're gonna have to hide him in something. If he's allergic to them, then he's gonna look at a plate of nuts and go, I can't eat those. There's generally people with life-threatening allergies. Watch for that thing.
Does his
However,
itinerary?
Hallie goes into her picnic basket and so my mom makes these muffins with there's nuts inside them. They're chopped really, really small. She says it provides protein.
I could if we know where he's going to be, I could very innocently enjoy a muffin nearby, offer him a piece, and then as soon as he takes the first bite, let slip about, oh, my favorite part is the nuts. And then he would spit it out in panic.
Mm-hmm. That would get him angry at you. That would not get him angry at Al.
We could just slip a few into his refreshment tray so that he has no idea, because they are aware of the allergy, so they're supposed to be avoiding serving him things.
With that allergy.
And Hallie does know where the kitchens are. And
I know exactly where the kitchens are. I know where everything is.
Cool. And then, so that sounds like we've got a little plan there.
Yeah,
So
you
we've
just
got
need
a
a
met-
person to slip them in.
Yeah.
Cool. And then once the crowd's in, staff go running. Myself, Hallie, Marelyn, you want to come? Or are you going to be sticking with the crowd?
Perhaps it's better that I stick with the crowd.
Okay. So yeah, me, Hallie, we'll go get your dad. Sounds like a plan. Royce.
What should I do?
You'll be with me, observing.
He's like still working on this taffy. Like,
At least he's enjoying the taffy.
Yeah.
We do need someone to let...
Also, Royce, Ian, if at any time Royce opens up that bag of coins, there is a piece of taffy inside it too.
Yeah.
Not that she'll ever admit to having put it in there on purpose, but...
Yeah.
You and I, Ghost, will observe the plan, and if anything hinky happens, we'll step in and see what we can do.
Alright.
Jelly, why don't you come down with us now, and then you can stay down in the city below, and then we'll come find you again when we've gotten Eddie out and we're ready to leave. We'll set up a place for you to stay.
Even better, did you want to get some carriages brought around for when we need to get out?
Ellie's our getaway driver.
I could help Jelly with arranging the carriages. I've already
Get all of
forecasted
our personal effects loaded up and ready to go, like we're
Yeah.
like we're leaving, and we do all this tomorrow because I imagine it's getting into evening.
And to be as a backup, if getting him out with the crowd doesn't work, I have some very large trunks. If I'm like making a show about packing up anyways, that might be a good
Plan B.
backup plan for stashing Eddie. And then it also
Put some clothes in the trunk, but leave enough space, and then Eddie has some cushioning.
And then it's, if we're making a show of packing up before, it doesn't look suspicious. If we happen to be
leaving,
you can say we're packing up and, ooh, it's getting a little unpleasant here. So that should be good.
okay. So what I'm hearing is that Marelyn and Hallie are going to go down and
This will be a fun duo trip.
create the restlessness within the crowd to come up. Are we having, who is delivering the muffin to its location?
Would it be cheating if we said ghost?
The ghost would do it if you asked him to.
I do think Ghost would be the most effective at doing it.
Yeah, but Marilyn.
But I don't think Marelyn would allow him to.
No, I
True.
don't.
Very good point. Very good point.
at least can like sketch out sort of a rough map of where
Here.
everything is.
What about this? I take a gift basket with the muffins. I go to this man and I say, "This came to my room, but it's addressed to you from Alarin. I don't know why it came to my room in mistake, but we did switch."
Hallie goes back into her basket. Some of these fruits are going to go bad if we don't do something with them soon anyway. We can make an entire gift basket out of this and still have enough food left over
Perfect.
for snacks for the
Perfect.
road, because my mother overpacks.
Okay.
Perfect.
So in the midst of my packing, I will also attend to the delivery. If
Okay.
Royce, if someone can let me know where he's going to be, or where
Yes,
his room
I will.
is. Yeah.
Okay. And then when the crowd arrives, Dervish
Probably-
and Hallie will go
Get hold
rescue
of, like,
Eddie.
we can probably get hold of like some actual like stationery or something that belongs to the spa without too much trouble to make it look like it's official.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that will just be a resources roll. I'm sure that someone can make that resources check on behalf, probably Luka, given that he's the one delivering the basket, and has the most resources.
Although, do I?
Technically, you
We'll
do.
have the score.
Yeah.
You still have the score regardless of being cut off. It's just where they're coming
Yeah.
from.
Well, and I have a tab now, so.
I just remembered as well, Matt, when you were talking to Ghost last episode about about wealth, and I was hoping you were gonna be like, resources aren't just a stat on a character sheet, you know?
Oh, that's good. Hey.
Okay. Let's start this off then. And let's start off with Hallie and Marelyn going down to the protesters at the gate.
We're going into the town.
Oh, you're going all the way down to
tavern.
town?
Yeah, because we want to bring. So there are more protesters down to town.
Okay.
We want to get more of them up to the gates when they get let in.
Okay. So you go down to the town again, and this is, it is a on the edge of the basin sort of town, but it is also a bigger town because it does have the spa, and it is kind of like the last stop in the edge of nowhere sort of town. So there's a lot of trade that goes on here. A lot of supplies stocking up, and there is a good sizable watering hole for those who want to wet their beaks. And a lot of the protesters are, stopping off there on their way, up the mountain, or they are, staying there during the evenings. Those that can afford it, if they aren't just camping out somewhere in the woods. Anyway, so you arrive at the tavern. Marelyn, do you have a good tavern name?
Tavern name? Maybe so these are near the hot springs, so maybe something spring related, like the bubbling springs or something. I don't.
Okay. Or how about the bubbling tap?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do the bubbling tap. And Marelyn, do you want to, or Grace, do you want to give me kind of a basic description of what you think the inside looks like?
Sure. So, they'd probably, with the spa just sort of being newer, they've probably had sort of an influx of money. So I imagine, maybe there's signs that the building was a little bit older and was a little bit dilapidated, but now it's some new construction has happened. It looks like it's been spruced up somewhat recently. Just like
New
a
paint.
Yeah, it's a bar along the back, some tables, maybe a couple private tables, and then some longer tables where people can kind of sit and chat with each other.
Sounds good. So how are you guys handling this? Are you going around and like talking to people individually, or like when are you gonna like stand up on the table and give like a big speech? Like, what's your approach?
Looking for a group of people who are sounding extra grumbly and just kind of going in to join in the complaints. And the thing of it is, Hallie doesn't have to do any sort of lying or acting here. All she has to do is tap the actual anguish and anger she has been suppressing for so long.
Yes. So you easily find, kind of one of those groups at one of those big long tables. And they are, kind of sharing stories about why they're there. And in particular, they're talking about, while Hallie, when you and your parents left home, kind of one of the biggest problems was like the water, and the water was getting, kind of more gross.
Here's a question. Is it possible that Hallie actually recognizes anyone from the town that she grew up in as being part of the protesters?
I can give you a spirits roll on that.
Because, there's a chance.
Yeah.
But
we'll get
I don't have
a
very good
spirits roll of 2. There's a chance.
So I only have 2 dice here.
You can
I add my tragedy to this?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my destiny too.
Remind me of your destiny.
Destiny is to destroy the house responsible for her brother's poisoning.
Yes.
Okay. Wee-hee, that doubles my dice.
Woohoo!
That's also very bold.
I didn't put the difficulty, and it didn't matter anyway, because... Oh well.
That's a big fat 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But what you notice that they're complaining about is actually the air quality. While the water quality was bad, and it has stayed kind of bad, one of the things that they're complaining about is that within the factory and outside of the factory, the factories have actually been putting out kind of great amounts of like black smoke. It's kind of got this like effect that kind of clouds out over the towns that these factories are in. And the workers themselves are complaining about, the water quality sucked, yes, but at least they could breathe. And now, people are developing like, where like the cough that kind of comes on before they get sick. And so that's one of the first indicative, things.
And feed some of the fire with, it's like they're trying to bring back the deepness. How long before everything around them starts to die? That sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's actually exactly what the rumors kind of sound like, and even like what the talk sounds like, right? It's kind of like, this is exactly like, the deepness and the mists and the darkness and the sickness, right? Like, and kind of these, complaints and overtones that they're talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm sort of feed it with my own personal story and try and rile them up and let Marelyn do her thing.
I am going to look and see if I can find someone who seems to be more in charge, someone who the other people around seeming to be like listening to more. Maybe there's someone who like when they say something, there's like a lot more like nods and like yeah, or like or someone who seems initially a little bit more like we should go up there and do something about it.
Yeah, so there are a few people who are a little bit more radical, who are calling, like, not necessarily for, that are calling not just for standing outside the gate, and kind of like holding signs, but they're like, we need to actually do something. Like, we know where he is, like, we should just go in there and pull him out. Like, there needs to be justice, and if no one is going to do anything, we need to make it. Like, kind of that place that that exact place that Hallie was in, like, just a short time ago, but they're kind of just revving up on it. So I'm going to have you roll me soothing, and Hallie, I'm going to have you roll me charm +1.
Charm +1. Charm is on.
Yes, but you can also add in your trauma as well as your destiny, right?
Okay.
And then, if you have anything else to.
Right.
So you're getting at least 3 dice on top of your.
I mean, her drive is vengeance/justice.
Yes.
So, so my turn missed 3. How many extra dice am I able to put on this? Between drive
currently
and...
you're at 4.
And that's for... Okay. Because
You're at 7 dice.
Wow, okay. I won't complain about that. And what was the difficulty?
The difficulty will be 3.
All right. Let's see what happens. I just made it.
Very good.
That's a 3.
For my soothing, can I add my danger sense, since I'm sort of trying to rile them up to danger a little bit?
Yes, I will allow that. So you're focusing on who feels the most dangerous and on
on the edge. Yeah. Normally this is the sort of scenario I would be soothing people down from, but I have enough experience that I know kind of how to do the opposite.
Yeah. Now you're soothing their patience and soothing their self-preservation and
I think maybe there's also a little bit of I kind of remember how Hallie was, and I'm also a little bit soothing some of those other bonds that might be holding them back. So what's the challenge? What's the difficulty? 3. Okay.
No.
That's a 1 and 2 nudges.
Oh.
Okay. Luckily, Hallie, so your soothing does help, but it was not enough in and of itself to push anything anywhere. But Hallie's joining in, and, Hallie, you're going to actually need to, open up to these people about what happened to your brother, right? And kind of...
I think as she listens to other people telling their own stories, it's going to get easier. And in some ways, it's easier to talk to strangers about this kind of thing than it is to talk to people you know really well. So,
well, and I'm sure you've also kind of sat down and had a drink as well, right, to kind of blend in. And you're feeling a little bit more comfortable, even now that you've broached the topic to begin with the crew. It's starting to be a little bit easier to talk about in general. But you end up having to tell.
And I think she just generally feels a lot better now that it's out there. I mean, the way she was bottling it up was not healthy.
No. Yeah, and a few others come out with their stories as well, mentioning people that they knew who were either sick currently and having financial troubles because of the medicine that they were trying to get, or those who had passed away, and, kind of just the expanding, graveyard, which added to kind of this, ambiance. And one of them, kind of stands up, and this is one of the guys that, Marelyn is has soothed all of the, kind of good emotions out of. And he stands up, in kind of a fit of rage, and he describes this scene where, he's like, will we rest before will we rest before they have taken everything from us, or before we have given it our all? And he says, I will not have our farmland turned to graves with those clouds of death. And he says, who is with me? And he kind of, beats his hand on the table and stands up.
He slams her head down and to get the momentum going.
Yeah, and very soon, there's this kind of like chant that's come up. And in these lines, the people just kind of leave the taverns, and the barkeep is kind of like, where'd everyone go? But like everyone else is kind of in this like forced to be reckoned with sort of mood as they leave and start trudging up the mountain in the coming darkness, and they've kind of lit like torches in the night.
Oh yeah.
Anybody have any pitchforks? Pitchforks? Anyone?
Possibly, but back at the spa, it's kind of evening. Everything is wound down, and Jelly and Luka are prepping the basket together to send up to Lufrin. And Jelly kind of just works quietly next to Luka, and at one point she says, how's your penmanship?
My penmanship. I don't think, not anything fancy.
Would you like me to write this then?
Sure, if you feel comfortable.
Okay. And she, kind of takes the paper that you have pilfered. And actually, I need you to make that resource roll for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Make sure that you got some nice printed.
And what difficulty?
2.
Hey.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she takes the paper and she begins, and very neat, excellent, like as if there were the little boxes, slanted boxes on the page. Scribes out, this note, and then folds it up neatly and tucks it in between some fruit. And she kind of just slides the basket over to you.
While they're working, he might just ask, forgive me if you don't want to talk about this, but can I ask you, they were saying your mother died of an illness. What did it look like? Like, what kind of... Was it similar to what it sounds like Hallie's brother went through?
A little bit. Though it was... Theirs seem a lot more noticeable. I remember hers was more almost like she was just tired all the time. And the worse it got, the more tired she got, the more she slept. And, one day she just kind of didn't wake up.
So sorry. And how long did it take?
Looking back now, it had probably been, I don't know, 6 months. It was slow.
Well, again, my condolences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you won't push further.
Yeah, and she kind of just stays quiet, and it seems that the day at the spa has done her well in the fact that her traumatized self has, for the most part, like, not healed or anything, but at least she's like shoved it down into a box to where now she's not like, just like this wide-eyed, terrified of everything. And that's not that she doesn't still jump at everything, but like she's a lot more, poised, and kind of figuring out how to handle herself and speak up. And she does seem kind of uncomfortable around Luka. And Luka gets the feeling that it's because she doesn't, like, she wants to trust him, but doesn't know if she should. And which makes sense given all the circumstances. But
yeah, I don't think he'll push. He'll just note that and kind of try to be gentle in his interactions. And sorry, is this is all still the same day, right?
yeah, this is later in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're ready. And Luka will also call down and say, I need to go back to Elendil to figure things out. Right. I need to move on. So he'll start making arrangements for the carriages, adding them to his tab that is going to get sent back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then ask that someone come to start helping him with his the belongings of him and his companions later on.
Sounds good. So Luka eventually takes the basket upstairs to where he knows Lufrin Portel is staying.
Yes.
And knocks on the door, and the door is opened by kind of an older gentleman, we'll say like 60s, not like, ancient, but just like, distinguished. And he... hello. Good evening.
Hello. Sorry for disturbing you. Are you Lord, are you Lufrin Portel?
Oh, yes. How can I help you?
Excellent. I must apologize. I think there's been some sort of mix-up. I'm leaving tonight, and I was packing my bags, and I found this gift basket from Alarin Petrel was left among my effects. However, it appears to be addressed to you.
Interesting.
So I switched rooms earlier. There's been a whole debacle for me, so I'm wondering if there was some sort of confusion. But anyways,
roll me a charm. This is going to be a charm of 1. Does not take much to get someone to accept a gift basket.
A gift basket, yeah. And I think inviting smile applies to this. Yeah. 3, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So he says, well, thank you for, it would have been an easy thing to keep it. And
well, and I must confess, I did try one of the muffins before read the tag, but I didn't leave it in there, of course, right? They're very good, so I highly recommend them.
Oh, very well. I will make certain to delve into this later.
Yeah,
perhaps with my newest novel.
Yeah.
Have a.
And sorry, are you staying here alone? Are you with a party, or?
Well, I have some people that I'm meeting with tomorrow.
Gotcha. It seems like a lot for one person to eat alone in their room with no one around. Just an observation.
Well, perhaps I'll share. Would you like another muffin?
Yeah, Perry. But I am watching my figure, so maybe we could split one, if you don't mind. I'm sorry, I have such a sweet tooth.
Oh, just take the whole thing, sir. It's what was your name again?
I really, really couldn't take the whole thing. My name's Luka. Nice to meet you. But I really couldn't take the whole thing. And you know what? Just keep it. Just keep the whole thing. Yes.
All right.
I'm sure Mr. Purcell would want you to have it, not me. I'm sorry. Hunger gets the better of me. It's very frazzling leaving. So.
Yes. Well, safe journeys. Have a good evening. Maybe take a bath before you leave and relax and calm your muscles and nerves. Unwind.
Yeah, of course. Well. Yeah. Oh, and I'm hoping to get out. It's just not as relaxing an environment as I was expecting, to be honest, what with all the hullabaloo going on outside. But
yes, well, we can just ignore all of that.
Right. So anyway, take care.
You as well. Good evening. And he closes the door.
Okay. Luka, it definitely seemed like you were hitting on him for a second there.
Well, okay, no. Luka is scared that he's going to eat this muffin and die alone in his room.
Oh, okay. You're like,
like guilt.
Because Luka does not want to murder this man. Luka wants.
We're going to have a conversation about using names.
Luka, roll
me
a spirits roll.
Oh God! No.
To find out if you just murdered this guy.
I mean,
I don't know.
The worst person to murder.
What do you want to add?
I can't think of anything.
I don't want him to die. That should count as something.
It's a 1, so
Hey. I do have something I'm gonna try to do, but I'll roll the spirits roll first.
Okay. Oh boy.
Nope.
Oh no, that's a 0.
Do you have any nudges?
Not 3. So Luka is gonna start walking down the hall, and he's hyperventilating a bit. And then he's going to
kill the man.
Count to 10. And then say, find an attendant somewhere, someone doing the halls. And he's going to say, excuse me, I encountered a gentleman in room, blah, 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 whatever his room number is, who was walking in. And he didn't seem very well. I don't want to be nosy, but, if someone could just check in on him at some point, discreetly, I'd feel better about it. I just, when he looked like he was alone, and when people are looking ill, I just get concerned.
Certainly, we'll look in on him.
Yeah, but I don't want to embarrass the fellow, so if it's just, room service or something,
of course.
Discretion.
Thank you for your concern.
It just, I worry about people,
Do you want to give me another spirits roll?
No.
Roll. Okay.
Do not murder this fellow.
That's still nothing.
He added 2 in both of them. Does that count?
No.
Maybe there's like a
Okay, Luka doesn't know.
bell in there, and he, you know, feels his throat start tightening, and he manages to pull it.
Okay, Luka doesn't know.
Yeah, Luka thinks he's done a good thing.
I mean, because Luka was thinking he would maybe like eat, and then he could say like, "Oh, don't you love the like the chunks of tree nuts or whatever?" But no, he's alone in his. Okay.
Theoretically, when the protesters burst in trying to find him, if security is good, they're gonna go to the guy who is being threatened to make sure he's safe. Okay.
Yes,
and if they walk in and he's in anaphylactic shock, they'll do something, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might be dead by then.
Hurry up, your protesters.
Scadrian medicine may not really have EpiPens yet.
Well, and Luka, I think the plan was he would have timed it for when the protesters are like there, I think was the plan. So
Speaking of which, later in the evening, because they have to trudge up a mountainside, but they're like singing happy work songs, like, getting up.
Do you hear
getting
the
up their
people
hike.
singing the songs around?
Anyway, they meet the other protesters at the gate, and kind of there's that rattle and clink, and the torchlight out in the darkness amongst the trees, and then that like a shattering breakage of the main gate breaking in, and of course at this point there are guards out front. Like a alarm goes up.
Right,
and
they broke it open, and I didn't even have to use my feruchemy.
It's an angry mob
of people against a fence. And it's not like it's a fence that's meant to be keeping people out. Like, it's a decorative fence. It's there for looks.
It's a formality.
Yeah. And as, the people are kind of storming the spa, and, there's cries of, find him, and, kind of that scene from, like, Beauty and the Beast. Like, that's what I'm picturing.
I was just thinking that,
darkness and,
I was thinking that earlier.
and the fire. And anyway, down off the steps of this building, comes, Alan Petrell with a couple of the guards. Hallie, I'm going to need a physique roll from you to slip past.
I'm going to add my petite feature to that to give me an extra die.
Perfect. That is going to be 2. Because it's, Oh, you can... No, we'll make that a 1. It's dark.
Well, thank you.
You got a 1 and 2 nudges.
I'm banking nudges right now. I'm sitting at 5.
Damn.
So you did succeed with a 1. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
get dice roller, so
No worries.
it wasn't working for me.
Even if it's a difficulty 2, I could spend nudges to bump it up.
Okay, perfect. So you get in without Alrin seeing you. And
it's good to be small.
Marelyn,
Yes.
I would like you to roll a physique roll as well.
Okay.
Does Marelyn even need to make it inside, or
No, she
wait
doesn't.
up?
And that's whether or not
Oh, right.
but she's probably, I'm assuming she's trying not to be seen by Alrin.
Yeah. Okay. What's the difficulty?
1.
Okay. I failed.
That's
Like
a
another
0.
nudge.
Okay.
0.
Perfect.
Confrontation time.
I have just banks if I'm banked if I need some, which is nice going into this.
Yeah.
Okay. So as this mob kind of breaks through, right, and Hallie kind of darts off to go meet up with Dervish, Alarin is, coming down the front steps with the guards to kind of, beat back the crowd. And Alarin's eyes fall on Marelyn. And he gets kind of this, sneer to him. And he goes, "What are you doing here?"
I bet you hate this, don't you? Bunch of people coming in to protest workers' rights. And then I am going to flare brass and slam into him, soothing everything except, the fear of this mob.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think flaring is a contest. My brass versus his willpower, according to his spirit. I mean.
Yeah.
I will roll. Give me a second here.
And can I add my tragedy to this?
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. So I can roll. I get 8.
8 dice. Very nice.
That is a 4.
I don't even know if he has a chance. But
There's always a chance.
He has a spirit of 1.
he has 4 dice, so
Okay. And I do have 3 nudges in my back pocket if he ties me. So
yeah. So you're standing pretty good here.
Yeah.
we
That's
used them. We
0.
got 0.
Did it come up as 0? I can't.
It came up as 0. Yeah.
Perfect.
0 with 2 nudges.
0 with 2
We got
nudges.
2 nudges, but
Okay.
no.
Yeah. So he just stops, dead in his tracks. He looks at you, and he says, "Did you bring this here?"
Maybe I did.
And instead of staying, he turns and rushes back in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, inside,
Hopefully
Hallie,
he didn't run back to Eddie. It's fine.
Dervish
That was worth it either way.
Yeah.
meet up. Oh, it was great. Perfect. Hallie and Dervish meet up, and have, entered the back area. Of course, the guards have all cleared out, for the most part.
I just want to mention, I have brought Leah's gun with me, hidden in my belt, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in
Okay.
case.
There is a single guard outside of where Eddie is being held.
Guess time to.
So you two are together, right?
Yeah.
Like, Hallie comes up, kind of, one has been on a long hike, but now has, kind of just rushed in.
Cool. Hallie, you want to take this guy with 1-2 punch?
So add brass knuckles, puts them on.
Let's do it.
Hey. I would like a physique roll from each of you, please.
Yes. Can we go first?
Yeah, you go first, and I get to add. Well, it's a damage +1.
What's the difficulty? Are we doing a difficulty or are we doing a contest?
It is a contest.
Cool. I'm rolling 9 die for 7 strength, +2 for being a physical.
Yeah,
Think.
he's rolling 3 dice, so
That's a 2 and 3 nudges. Do I want to immediately? I'm not gonna immediately bump that to a 3. So I'm going to bank those nudges.
Are you doing this like one at a time per contest, or because it's like he's punching him first, and then if he's still up, then I'll hit him.
How many do you? So you did it 2 for 2.
Yeah. So I rolled 9 dice for 2.
So he's still up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still up.
Cool.
So Hallie, roll your physique.
1. I will go ahead and spend 3 nudges to bump that up to a 2.
Okay. Let me check here. I believe that takes him down.
I mean, I also do an extra point of damage from the brass knuckles.
Oh, nice.
Then that definitely takes him down.
Cool.
So yeah, I did more damage than the Koloss blood for some reason.
Tara.
Yeah. So you come out with like, there's just this guy kind of, with his like thumbs in his belt loops. Not expecting a darn thing, because really, he's like on break here while everyone else is outside, fighting the riders. And out comes Dervish with, one big slug, and then, Hallie with the brass knuckles like up into his gut. And he just kind of keels over with like the wind completely knocked out of him, and he just kind of passes out from lack of air.
Amazing.
Yeah. The door is locked.
Is there keys on the guard?
That's a good question. Roll me a resources.
Ooh. That's a terrible thing
do this?
It is a 1.
I have 3.
Better resources, but yeah.
Yeah, if you have the better resources, you do the roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the roll.
That's a 4.
Okay, yeah. So there are keys on the guard.
Cool.
It's easy.
So I opened the door. Is this just into the room, or is this into like the cell?
Yeah, so this is really just like, it's a little room. There is a plain table and a plain chair on one side and a plain chair on the other. Sitting in one of these chairs is Eddie. And Eddie has his feet up on the table and, his arms kind of crossed, and he looks up at you guys and he's like, well, look at that.
You
I
ready?
didn't know if you guys were coming or not.
Well,
Quit whining and come on.
yeah.
And he like stands up and gets out of the chair. He's like, give me one moment. I have something to do. And he kind of steps, past you, and there's, the offices next door, and he just kind of, he says, oh, can I borrow those keys?
I'll toss him the key ring.
And he catches it and he goes over and, kind of fills through and unlocks one of the doors. He kind of pushes in the office door, and he goes and starts rifling through papers in the office.
What are you doing, Eddie? We need to get out.
Oh, I know.
Hallie pops up next to his elbow. What you looking for?
Well, I mean,
6 pairs of eyes are faster than 2.
6 pairs of eyes.
Sorry, you're right. Words are hard. I believe we established this last session. 6 eyes are better than 2.
He says, well, there are a couple spots in the financials that if I just move around a couple zeros here and there, he won't be able to recover from this.
I look at Hallie and I'm like, for Marelyn's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he looks between you two and he says, you tell Marelyn? I'll make sure you pay for what you did.
Eddie, I don't think we have that kind of relationship anymore. I don't think. So let's just get on with things, and we'll do what we want afterwards. How about that?
Maybe. And then he just continues to flip through. I need a roll from whoever has the highest wits.
It'd probably be me.
You are the wits of the group.
You may add 2 dice to that.
Ooh, fancy.
From Eddie and Dervish. And then anything else you might have that would help you looking for this information.
I mean, I don't know if there's really anything else. But... Oh, I didn't put the difficulty in, but 3.
And
yeah,
3
nudges.
Level was
so I got a 4.
So, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so with just a couple of movements here, and Eddie has you would not take him for someone who has very good penmanship, but his forgery is quite spectacular. It is amazing. And he says, "All right, we can go now." And as you're leaving, you notice
on
that
the
he
shoulder.
takes a couple of. He takes a couple of the boxes of lost and found items, that have been brought back because they're more important and expensive. Kind of on the way out.
I'm just going to stop him before we leave, and I'm just going to be just so you know, Eddie, the reason you're in here is because you brought someone to me for the express purpose of killing me. The reason I'm getting you out is for Marelyn's sake. Do you understand? Me and you, we're even now. Right? Let's get out of here.
Hallie claps him on the shoulder. Also, if you ever rust us over, I'll set you on fire. And then she bounces off. She looks surprisingly cheerful, and suddenly, perhaps, you're wondering if maybe she's a little scarier this way?
And he goes, yes, and it's not like you didn't, melt my inventory or anything.
Hallie turns around, shrugs, grins, can't prove it, and skips off down the hall.
I don't say a thing. I just activate my resting Kolos face and head off as well.
Hey. And you all leave this place.
No.
I'm having a little bit of fun here feeling out where Hallie's real personality settles.
Yes, Ian.
May I do a spirits roll to see if Royce sees Braid?
You may, but I'm not going to make it have to be a spirits roll. I'm going to say that on your way out, so you do not have time to talk to him.
Yeah.
But as you are leaving, ghost in tow, you do see, down one of the hallways being ushered into, his bedroom upstairs, Brayden, who is in a wheelchair.
Royce does freeze in place for a moment, and his composure does break, in shock before and he's very thankful that it's just Ghost here before they can.
Okay. And was the shock what was the shock for?
Well, one, not expecting that. And it's just putting 2 and 2 together that his aunt was protecting him. possibly from whatever happened to her son.
Okay. So, Luka, I'm going to need one more resources roll from you to make sure that the carriages are all ready and on standby. You will get an extra die from Jelly helping you.
What's the difficulty?
That is going to be a 2.
3.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you have the carriages all waiting, and they're all ready to go. Everything's packed, and as people come out of the spa, while the mob is kind of, circulating mass chaos, you are able to get into the carriages and make a speedy getaway.
Hell yeah! We managed to not mess it up.
Yeah, that was a very smooth execution of your plan.
Did the guy die?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a great question.
Find out the broadsheets later.
Let's see. I kind of need to figure out how to decide that.
We managed to talk Hallie down from killing him herself, and then we just accidentally killed him whilst
No,
doing
we talked her
prison.
down from sacrificing herself
True.
in order to kill him.
True.
Yeah.
From doing something stupid.
Yes.
I don't know that any of us were actually opposed to killing him on moral principles.
I mean, Royce is opposed to killing on moral purposes.
Perfect.
Luka raised his hand. I am.
Yeah.
Royce didn't want him to die.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's dead or not yet. You guys don't know if he's dead or not yet.
No.
I'm comfortable leaving that in the air for a little bit. We'll see.
Wonderful.
But I think too.
This was totally unnecessary, but we did it anyway.
Excellent. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so the carriages take off into the night. About, when you make your way a bit down the road, you pull off into, some of the trees to make camp. Because you're not gonna get anywhere this evening. You all are setting up, and you're on still like kind of the top ridges of this mountainside, right at the edge of the basin. And as you are, kind of settling in for the evening, not directly below, like down in the town below, but like off in the distance, you can see, because it's night, that something is on fire.
I was worried about this.
What's that?
I will burn and flare tin to see if I can make out anything.
How far does that reach?
Excellent question.
Far, I
It's not like binocular vision. It just makes you be able to see what.
Yeah,
you're
are we
able to
talking like
see.
miles, or are we talking
Yeah.
like?
I mean,
He would also, his smell and hearing would also improve with that too.
Oh,
I mean,
so-
so like it's like
Sorry about that.
okay. While burning tin, an Allomancer can hear distant conversation, see great distances with clarity, and finely distinguish smells, tastes, and textures.
Okay, so we'll give you a roll.
Like a pure tin roll, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's a pure tin roll over there. And Dervish, I'm going to have you make one for Ghost.
Okay.
So my rating is 4, flaring gets me to 5, and then information acquisition.
Well, that's going to be our first Diceborn t-shirt. It's just going to be information acquisition ?
And the challenge rating is what?
Oh, the challenge rating is going to be 3.
3
Correct.
with 6 dice.
Anyone over, it's going to be it'll give you more information.
Unfortunately, I have 0 nudges right now.
That's all right, because that's a 3.
3s and 1 nudge.
Okay.
Should I still roll for Ghost? See if he gets more.
What?
Should I still roll for Ghost?
Yes.
Yes.
Roll for Ghost. Actually, give him 6 dice, because his personal motive is...
Cool. I just rolled 6. I've just rolled 5. Do I roll
Just
1?
roll one more.
Yeah.
Just roll one more.
So that's what that is. It's 2s, 2 2s, a 3, and a 4, and a 5. It's just a nudge. So 2s and a nudge. So yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah. So as Royce is looking out, Royce has seen this site before, namely while he was on the train.
Yeah.
And it's closer now. It's not the town, right at the base of the spa, but it's a town further out. And it is in a blaze. And the only reason that you can see that blaze is because you are so high up and it is a clear night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just got 3s. I would have given you 1. But.
Royce, is that... What do your elf eyes see?
There are no elves!
Royce, what do you see?
What do my tin eyes see?
What do your tin eyes see?
There's a town burning.
I have a feeling we might see a few more of those on the way to where we're going.
Should we go try to help?
By the time we would get there, it'd be too late either way.
Yeah.
Is it possible they're planning on targeting this town next? Could we possibly get the jump on them before we ever even get out into the roughs?
I think they'll be heading out into the road. Natasha, did you say that this is further, so we're on the precipice between the basin and the roughs? Is this town in the roughs, or is it further into the basin?
It's further into the basin.
Okay, cool.
So you're ahead of them because you took the train.
That makes sense.
So we could possibly ambush them and get Dervish out of this mess completely.
Would I know, Luka's not great with directions, but if he grew up in a town, would I be able to be like, oh, that's the town I grew up in before moving to Elendel? If I'm thinking, geographically.
Give me, a wits roll.
Okay.
We'll give you, it's a 1.
And... just a second, let me check something. I think I have survival gear, including a backpack, compass, and maps.
I forgot you packed.
So are you going to whip out your survival gear and
Charts.
Well, I think what it will be is I'll be like, is that my town? And then he'll like whip out a map to like confirm basically whether or not it is.
Okay.
So wits +1 for my survival here. So that's 4 dice. And it's a 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's not a good sign. 0. Oh, 3 nudges. So I can turn that into a 1,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're over here with your map and your compass and your little and it is not your town.
Okay. Good.
However, Luka kind of says, okay, if the town is up here that's burning, this is we're right here. My town's kind of like over here.
Like
No, Luka's town is next.
on
like,
their...
The potential is, are they headed there next? What is the direction that things are going?
Because if
And there are a couple of towns in between.
So from what we know of your sister Dervish and these raiders, do they, burn and kill every town they pass? Has that been the pattern?
She'll take any chance she gets. She's not stupid. She's not gonna follow a super predictable pattern, but yeah, I wouldn't consider any town safe that she's coming by. What are you thinking?
Well, it's just it's a small thing.
Small thing?
Just a small thing. He holds up the map and he's like, so I think if I'm reading directions correctly, that town is this one right here. We are headed here for your little ritual combat thingy. My parents live here, and it's just... It's a little concerning.
Comfort.
Yes.
That is not small. That is a problem.
So maybe, like Hallie's point, if we can head them off, and also maybe check in on this. I mean, it's not much of a town, to be honest, but it does have nice people in it who don't deserve to be
slaughtered,
burned. Could we stop on the way?
Or would be going back on ourselves? I'm still working the geography out. So I'm
very bad using my fingers.
That's okay.
So you have the basin, right?
Yeah.
We're heading north.
You're on the cusp of the basin. They're burning a town over here. The place that you just left is right here. And
that's Luka's town.
Luka's family is over here. So it's not definite that they're gonna go hit Luka's family. But it's that kind of uncomfy zone where it's depending on which route they take.
And we have a shot to stop them before they burn out any more towns. We need to take.
Yeah, and I mean there are towns in between.
We could
the burning town and Luka's family as well. So you don't have to go to the town that has Luka's family. You could go one that's closer, right?
We could try to just head them off before they get there.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to disrespect Jebus, your culture or traditions, but it just seems
maybe walking into a known location that they've had time to set up for this fight to the death isn't the best idea.
I was more thinking waiting to have this confrontation when we know they're going to keep doing this at this point is maybe not overly responsible
Do you
of
know,
us.
one of the reasons I
Let
left...
them
Yeah.
keep killing folk.
Yeah, one of the reasons I left the Ruffs was because I wasn't happy with this whole situation anyway. This whole ritual passing down of the spikes. I'm totally down to head them off and stop what it is that they've been doing. I've just kind of been a bit focused on myself. Haven't really been thinking about it. But no, absolutely we should head in the direction where if they were heading to your town, Luka, we would cut them off. And then if we don't run into them there and they've taken a different route, we just chase them down. Everyone all right with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Edgar kind of clears his throat and says, as much as I love running around back and forth and
run away, be yourself. We don't care.
very well,
For your life, coward.
I will.
Ollie's gone from grumpy to sassy. This is apparently who she actually is.
Yeah, she's come out of a shell a bit, and turns out she just sass all day.
Well, yes. Right then.
Stop trying to make yourself look good. We know better.
Right. Well, are you all going to stay here and sleep the night, or are you leaving right now?
I think we need to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It does seem to be the case. Before you go, Mr. Jamali, could we just circle up the 5 of us? Just, Royce, Marelyn, like us, just over there.
Yeah.
Ghost, make
Crew
sure
huddle.
he doesn't snoop.
Crew huddle.
So once in the crew huddle, Luka's going to be like, how much do we trust Eddie with something, say, the safety of a companion?
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
Okay.
We're bringing her with us. And to head off.
We're all like, yes, the potential fight to the death with the Kolos Raiders is safer than sending her with Eddie.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
I feel like we go off to have this huddle, and like Eddie just watches in the distance as like Luka said something, and the 4 of us are just immediately
No.
Absolutely not.
loud enough that he can hear.
Cool. So, I think we'll be heading off now then.
You can ride with us, you can walk.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even let me take a horse, maybe.
Well, they're attached to carriages. And the carriages don't go.
More horses than there are carriages.
The carriages are big.
Team.
The carriages are big, and the horses are less big.
Shall we
and
just
stay only.
drop you
And
off at the base of the
technically-
medic? Oh.
These are on my tab as well. So
I'm sure we'll be passing close enough to a train station that you can get to one pretty easily.
Very well. I will ride along with you until then.
Okay.
So you all load back up into
Turning
these
around.
Yeah. Turn it around.
and head back down the mountainside. Chart a course. Yeah, so you are going to, it's going to be the evening, pretty much, of driving these horses. And while they are on the tab, I don't really know how horse travel works, but I'm sure there's a way that they get them back to the owner. Like,
That's a really good question.
I don't know. Like,
We'll figure that out when we need to.
We
just kind of hand waved that.
yeah. Well, I think at some point you would drop them off at your like destination, and then someone in that destination might hire them
Drive
to go
them
back.
back?
You know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you are all in the carriage and, resting throughout the night. Maybe, there are moments when watering the horses, at nearby streams, sort of thing. Let's see. Eddie. At one point he kind of finds a moment when everything's quiet and everyone, except for Marelyn, is kind of distracted by other conversations, and he kind of just says, so, we probably won't be seeing each other again. I'm assuming.
I don't know about that. Unless you're planning on disappearing again. Not trying to contact me.
Well, you never know what way the wind blows, and as you said, I should leave you alone to your own devices.
Maybe when I get back to Allendale. I'm not joining up to do a job with you again, but I wouldn't be opposed to a lunch.
He reaches in a pocket and pulls out a piece of paper and writes down an address in Allendale. He says, well, you'll be able to find me here.
Thanks. I'll take the paper and put it in my pocket.
It's a good crew that you've got.
It is.
Would you do me one favor and answer me a question?
What?
Which one of them do you trust most?
I don't know. Why?
Just want to know. What makes someone trustworthy in your opinion?
I guess just history. Someone who's done a lot to show that they won't break trust. Not like either of us.
Yeah, well, moments shape people. I always kind of, I don't know, regretted some things.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that too.
But I did do the best I could.
I know. I guess that was always part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, take care of yourself. Take care of the rest of them.
You too.
Do better by them than I did by you.
I will.
Such a low bar. And he just nods and, there's kind of lull in the conversation. And he goes, so you're really not going to tell me who you trust most?
No. Would you?
I don't know. I have my thoughts, but my guesses. He doesn't really say anything more after that.
Right. Well, goodbye, Eddie. I hope I get to see you soon.
Yeah. I hope you do too. Okay.
As we see him off, I just give him the old later, Eddie.
Before you see him off, he pulls Dervish aside.
Okay.
And I need everyone else to take their headphones off.
My God.
Yes.
Do I do a dirty and ask if I can burn tin?
I'd allow that.
You'd have to know.
Well, he does pull you aside.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like if that's noticeable.
Does that mean
Then,
he thinks? Does that mean
are
he
you
thinks?
okay with me as a player doing that, or do
Yes.
you want this to be a secret? Okay,
That's fine.
I want it.
Does that mean that he thinks Dervish is the one to trust the most? or what?
Obviously, you know.
All right.
So, but the rest of us headphones off.
Yeah.
Wait, will you make like a gesture or something when we have to put them back
I'll
on?
give you a
maybe,
thumbs.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll have everyone give you a thumbs up. All three of
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Something about Eddie drops and changes. He's not kind of, that he doesn't have quite that like sauntery feel that he normally does. In fact, he kind of stiffens a bit and holds himself a bit more sure. And he says, I do not intend that Marelyn will ever see Edgar Jamali again.
And why is that?
He has been dead for about a year and a half now.
I just got major goosebumps. So, who am I speaking to right now, then?
I am Carmel.
Well, rusted, ruinous. Never thought I'd actually get to meet one of you fellas.
Yes, well, you won't tell Marelyn. From what I've gathered, you care enough about her emotions to not ruin the closure that she has had.
Yeah. It's going to break her heart when you never turn up again, but I guess, as you said, it was never really you to begin with.
No.
Yeah.
It was as much as I could give her, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
However, your sister has something of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I need them back.
Yeah, my father liked to tell his tall tales.
This is not quite a tall tale.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like those back. And I will not leave you, of course, without recourse. I'm not going too far. But I will be altering my appearance to ensure that there's not an issue. And I will show up to help you when the time is right.
That's good to know. I always felt like, I don't know how much you spend with the Kolos-blooded clans. This, us being hemolegic creations of the old world, always felt like a little connection to you guys. So it's good to know that you got my back in this instance.
Well, out of necessity more than anything.
Yeah. So I assume when I look in that little pouch that my sister has, there'll be 6 spikes in there, not 4.
Yes.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
As for the tonight.
Yep.
Not the small one, the other one.
Yep.
I'm not so stupid as to think he's not listening to this.
I would judge him if he wasn't.
My kind have been watching him for a short while. So,
curious.
Be aware of that.
Okay.
He is a smart one.
You can say that again. He's really good at information acquisition.
Yeah. However, he may get himself into too much trouble if he continues down the wrong roads.
Can I see Royce, like, from where I am? Like,
I would
give me
say
a physique roll.
Okay.
Unless, I mean, you can say Royce, like, if you're not trying to hide that you're listening, like...
I mean, like, it's, like, I'd be visible, like, whether or not you can tell I'm listening, but...
Well, I mean, the card just said you're listening, you know? So,
yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna lean, like, look at Royce and just give him a little wink.
Royce will nod back.
Yes, just tread carefully. Know that you are being watched, all of you. And for now, I won't be too far.
Thank you very much, Carmel. It's been an honor to meet you.
Of course. Have a good evening.
You too. And if you ever want to stick around for, you ever want to stick around for a drink as well, talk spikes and whatnot, you let me know.
Certainly.
And then I'll
And then
loudly.
he
Yeah.
kind of takes back up, you know, Eddie's like sauntering
Yeah.
vibe,
I know.
and kind of just meanders off.
I'll give him the one final. Later, Eddie. Woo!
Everyone else, you're good to put him back on.
So curious.
How you doing, friends?
So is Eddie like walking off now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Just handing him
Hallie has
dawn light.
one parting shot. Hey Eddie, before
Yeah.
you go, can you at least show me recreate the look on your face when you found out the plate was melted.
I couldn't give you the pleasure.
Oh.
He just chuckles.
And
Then she kind of walks over to Royce and mutters, "That was almost worth how much it annoyed you."
While they're off, would it be possible for Luka to have pulled Marelyn aside?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You guys can have had a conversation
Yeah.
while they were off doing that.
Okay. So yeah, Luka will, when he sees like Eddie going, he's like, Marelyn,
Yeah.
could I speak with you for just, I don't want to impose on your time at all. And I know there's a
No
lot
worries.
going on with your father and
Yeah.
thanks. And yeah, Luka will kind of look and, you know, see everyone's kind of off. And so he'll say, just, I guess, your father, it seems like you've had a complicated relationship, and he's done some not good things, but how do you know when to stop giving someone chances?
Just have to trust your gut, I guess.
I don't think I have much of a gut, unfortunately. Sorry, this is awkward. I'm, bothering you. Do you think that I'm improving? Like, that I'm hitting a lane with this whole thieving crew thing? I feel like I've been, actually doing things lately.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That last bit felt a little useless. I was just packing the carriage, and then, I potentially gave a man a muffin that may have killed him, that I don't really know what difference that made anymore, and I'm just very confused.
I heard about what you did on that train. I think you have the potential to be a very good con man if you want to be.
Really?
Really.
And look at, like, his face just, like, he smiles, and then he kind of, like, goes a little, and he's like, You didn't always think that,
No, I didn't. But
I won you over in the end, I guess.
Yeah. You did.
No.
And just think, and I'm going to kind of put my arm around Luka's shoulders and say in like a joking way, like, who wouldn't want to learn how to be like Eddie,
Truly. It seems like a lot of excitement. But Thanks.
And I'm going to kind of like wince slightly and rub my forehead.
What's wrong?
Well, no, I've just had this like slight headache ever since we left the spa.
I hate headaches.
It's like everything is.
Go ahead.
It's like everything is so overwhelming and strong. Oh no.
Do you need some sort of remedy? I don't know. Like rub your neck or something? I mean, if you're
Sure,
back
I'll
at the
be
spa,
fine.
you'll be fine? Yeah, well, you're very competent, very capable
I'm sure whatever
person.
Sure, whatever it is will work.
Digs into her bag and pulls out a small bottle, and she's like, my mom packs for everything. There's like some sort of analgesic medicine bottle. She offers Marelyn a couple
Not
of pills.
necessary. Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm going to play this as like Marelyn suspects what this is, and at some point she's going to sneak off by herself and sort of excuse myself, and I have one charge left of brass for this session, so I'm going to take it and use it, and as I burn brass, like my headache is soothed away. And I'm going to kind of nod to myself and say, should have known that last flare would do it.
Very nice. As we're making our way on the carriages, are we driving the carriages? We don't have like drivers with us, right? Or we
No, you don't have drivers.
Cool. I'll be driving one of the carriages, and I'm gonna pull Royce up, and and I'm gonna be like, so I can trust you to keep a secret, right?
Boy.
Always.
Let's keep that one between you and me. Now, more importantly, did you translate the plate?
No, not yet.
Damn it. I want to know what was on it.
I've been distracted of late, but I'll get right on it.
Excellent, excellent. How are things going with all your family business?
Not as well as I would like.
That's unfortunate. Can't be as bad as mine, though, eh?
Fair point.
Okay. And Marelyn, you said you wanted to speak with Ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Just get his reaction to everything that I said and everything that has happened.
So do you like approach him? How are you going about that?
Oh, we're in the carriages, so I'll kind of like sit next to him, kind of wait to see if he brings anything up first. If he's gonna talk to me.
He's just kind of staring out the window, watching, the countryside roll by. And he says, "It's breathing kind of loud."
Sorry, I would breathe quieter if I knew how. How are you doing, Ghost?
Okay.
After I would understand if you don't want me to be your boss anymore. I can talk to one of the others and see if I can pass that job off if you would prefer, but I want you to know that I would never do anything to hurt or betray you.
Hallie, before, when she was wanting to leave, she said it didn't really matter who my boss was, as long as I knew my job.
Mm.
And that my job was to make sure that everyone stayed safe and that no one got anyone else hurt.
That sounds like a pretty good job.
If you're my boss, what's your job?
I guess my job is kind of the same thing. I watch out and, see if anyone around us seems like they're getting too angry or if they're suspicious, and I, help the crew stay safe. I soothe them or I talk to them and make sure no one in the crew gets hurt.
So would you have let Hallie leave?
I would have tried to stop her, but Hallie and I, we don't always get along. I don't know if I could have.
Well, people leave when they don't feel wanted.
Yeah, they do.
And if you're the boss and that's your job, you have to make sure people don't leave.
I will. Okay. And just you will always have a place here, Ghost. Even if the rest of the crew falls apart. But I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't.
Okay. That's your job, boss.
Okay.
Okay. And he goes back to looking out the window.
Oh. This precious child.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Just cracking through all of Marelyn's shields.
Yeah.
Like a photon torpedo through butter.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Oh,
Awesome.
so good.
Oh, man.
Oh, is there anything else anyone wants to do?
I'm sorry. I have a couple.
Give me a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
First, Luka would like to talk to Royce. So you can have the... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point... And is this like taking place over like a couple of days or like how long?
Yeah, probably a couple of days, because it's like carriage travel and not train travel.
It's a while.
Okay. So, at some point, I think when they're camped, when he's by himself, Luka's going to be taking out the 2 letters. One's from his grandmother. That's not addressed to him, but just says that Luka Ilariel's accounts are cut off. And the other one is the one he received from his sister, Esty.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of looking at both of them and thinking about what both of them mean. One could be seen as a threat or as a challenge or an encouragement to improve himself, depending on how you look at it. And the other is a temptation to fall back into kind of old comforts, but also potentially a moment when he's going to have to admit to perhaps some failures. And so he's kind of just looking at these, and then at some point he'll approach Royce and pull him aside. And he'll ask, so all of this with my family, we're not from the same background as everyone else in this crew. We didn't fall into it in the same way. I guess if you were in a similar situation, if it was House Hadriel, what would you do?
Family is important. And you don't always have to like or agree with your family. My father and my aunt disagreed about a lot of things on how to do business. But my father always instilled in me that our rank, our privileges, we have them so that we can help people.
Mm-hmm.
If my family was no longer helping people, then I could not support them.
That makes a lot of sense. So this conflict we're heading towards of dervishes.
Yes.
What's your take on it? Why? Obviously, there's, we're here to support him, but what's the goal?
Well, right now, Dervish's sister is hurting a lot of people.
She is.
That needs to be stopped. I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but hopefully Dervish can do it.
You see, that's... I'm concerned about my family in more ways than one. Concerned for them, but also concerned about them. And this crew is important to me, and I want to help, but I think I need to put some things in order. And I can make more of a difference doing that, perhaps elsewhere than standing on the sidelines where I'm quite helpless and could be more of a liability.
If you have an idea on a way to help that isn't here, then I think you have to take it. And perhaps take Genevieve with you. I don't think she needs to see whatever we're headed towards.
I'm not sure I should take her where I'm going.
At least you can maybe get her somewhere safe before you head on to where you're going. But it's up to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Royce.
I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
And
there was nothing weird about the flat when you left, was there?
no. Oh, no.
No one was like showing up with like the sheriff to like take things or anything?
Not yet. How far in advance do you pay the rent?
Oh, the rent will be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Luka's like, pay rent.
He's back into his denial phase.
Okay. And yeah, Luka will.
Yeah. Like Royce will just say, like, good luck finding your balance.
Thanks.
I just promised Ghost to keep this crew together, and you're already undermining my authority.
I was thinking about this during your conversation with him.
Matt's needing time off.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a good reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess at some point after that, when he finds a good opportunity, and knowing he's cleared it with Royce, who he thinks is the most likely person to notice him leaving, Luka's going to try to flip off at some point and is going to leave a letter for the crew, kind of explaining things.
I'm going to introduce us to his family first. Now he's just going to skitter off.
Matt, I know you have real life stuff going on, but have you considered my character's relationship with her pseudo little brother figure and how you're going to ruin it after I just worked to repair it?
I think this is going to create some interesting growth opportunities for Marelyn.
Matt, did you want to tell the people why it is you're having to step away for a little while?
Yeah, sure. I'm expecting a baby in like less than a week from date of filming this, and by the time this comes up, I will be occupied with being a parent. So, won't be available for a little bit.
I would love that for you.
Yeah. Not sure how many sessions.
That's cool.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out. And I'll type up a letter that can be part of next.
I do want you to make a contested roll, though.
Yeah, a perfect
Ghost.
Yep. Because you are going to make a physique roll against Ghost over here.
Okay,
I'll do Ghost.
I want to burn. He wants to burn Electrum when he does this.
Okay.
To help.
I can accept that.
And I think his destiny plays into this as well. Maybe not.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, that's cool.
Because I'm going to say, yes, leaving does, but leaving without telling anyone does not.
He didn't leave without telling anyone. He told me.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna.
Ben, will you roll me 6 dice?
Yes, I will do that now.
So with my Electrum, I just add a dice for that if I'm using it in this way.
Ghost definitely roll a buttload of 4s.
Oh yeah, there's.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're getting accosted by the kid.
Beautiful.
So you get like a decent way off. And you really think you've made it out. Like, you're patting yourself on the back at this point. Like, like, really celebrating this. And then, like, as you're kind of like, you're looking looking, over your shoulder, making sure that no one's following you, and you're like, yeah, good. And then as you turn around, like, Ghost is standing there.
Yeah.
And he's just looking up at you.
Ghost is teleporting.
Hi.
Where are you going?
Listen, I have some important things to take care of, and I'm going to come back. Okay?
That's not
but
what I
I'm just going to
asked.
be gone for a little while.
Where?
I think I need to go talk to some of my family about some things.
Does anyone know where you're going?
I've left a letter with my things that will explain everything.
Exactly where you're going.
Yes.
Is that a lie?
Trying to think.
This kid has gotten emotionally attached to everyone in this crew.
He's a sheepdog. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
what Ghost is.
Yeah.
And Hallie went and gave him free reign.
I don't want to say if it's a lie. What I want to say is Luka is trying to end the conversation and not like he's trying to reassure Ghost. So I think whether or not it can be a role either way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Does that work?
So, out of character,
Yeah.
Ghost's motive is not necessarily to stop you.
Yeah.
It's to make sure you're not doing something stupid and
Right.
that you are going to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's his
This
job.
is his goal.
Yes.
It is his job.
Yes.
So he wants to know that his job is done. And so unless he's walking away from this conversation knowing that,
Gotcha.
he's not going to let you go.
So
Yeah, so Ghost is just like, so it's in the letter.
yes. Yes, it is. And it'll, I think, explain some other things, and then we'll be able to meet up soon. I don't want to be away too long.
Okay. And you're going without everyone else because...
You know what's an amazing thing about this crew and about a team? It's that everyone has their strengths and their jobs, right? Where the crew is going right now, Dervish has a very important job to do. And he is going to need support as he goes through that. I don't think he needs all of our support in person. And I think that where I'm going, I can do my job better than I would be coming along for now. I'm not sure how much you were following. I'm assuming a lot, because let's be honest, you're the most perceptive person here. The conversation that we were all having earlier about how my family is mixed up in some not good things. And so I do need to take care of that, but to some extent. And I need to have some tough conversations, I think, before I can figure out the best way for me to handle it.
But you're not leaving because you don't think you're wanted, right?
You know, Ghost, I've been thinking about this for a couple days while we've been traveling, right? And I think initially I might have felt that way. Or if it was in another time, I might have felt that way. But, I had a good conversation with Marelyn recently and with Dervish, and they both made me realize I do have something to offer, and I think I want to make good on that. So I will be back, I promise. And besides, Ghost, do you really think I could resist staying away from all of this? Like, I love being mixed up in all the... I'm going to be... And I need you to watch everyone. Okay, I'm not your boss, right? This is just a favor between friends. But I know I would come back a lot faster if I knew there was a bunch of gossip waiting for me about what everyone gets up to. So if you could keep me covered that way, you can fill me in when we meet up again.
Okay. Just so long as you remember who your friends are and where you actually belong. And, he kind of wraps his arms around your waist and kind of like this, like, tight hug. And then just like, be safe, because I can't watch you while you're out there, and you're kind of,
Yeah, well, we're pretty... I have maps and my compass, and we're pretty close. And I mean, we just dropped off that Eddie person not that long ago, and he seems, if he can make it, I think I can.
Yeah. Well, be safe.
Yeah, of course. And keep them safe, Ghost.
Yes. Well, that's my job.
Yes.
Bye. Come back soon.
Yeah. Goodbye.
And he lets you go.
Luka starts crying.
I can hear that.
I'm fine.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad to see you go, Matt.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm not gone for too long, but we will see.
It does take us a while between the recordings, except for when we do two in a one go like this. It's alright, we're going to be recording for 8 hours. It's cool.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Excellent. So, thank you everyone so much for watching episode 8 of Diceborn. Don't forget about this week's giveaway, which will be picked next week and then announced in the next episode. Don't forget you can buy all of your Mistborn Adventures Game things at mistborngames.com. You can use the code 17MBDICE when you spend more than $20 or more, and you get a free set of dice. Another thank you to Natasha for running this game, and a big thank you to Matt for playing Luka. And hopefully we'll be back before the end of the season. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also
gotta make that work somehow.
Yeah. It's all right. I've heard babies aren't actually that much work. So,
Yeah.
You can find the rest of us at 17shard.com for all your news, theories, discussion, and fun. You can find us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, and YouTube, and Spotify for this show. We're also... The Shardcast is also on there. You should also watch Shardcast as well. And also Spanreads. Spanreads is probably still going at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like 40 of those in the bank. I'm sure they're still going. Yeah. You can give us a money on Patreon, where you get access to session 0 of this game. And also, we have more than enough like outtakes during the breaks that we have that I feel like I could probably start putting some of those on Patreon as well. But that's more editing work for me. And so who knows if that'll actually happen. So, yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for more. Thank you all for watching, and keep those dice rolling. Bye.
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 Bye.